Green Bay Packers being linked to a stud athlete. Who is it? I'm going to break that down in this video. And would it make sense to add a guy like this to the Packer roster? Before I jump into it, if you like the content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, so let's get into it. We know that the Packers are going to need to address the running back situation in Green Bay on multiple levels. Aaron Jones, they need to restructure his contract. We know both parties mutually want to get that done. So it's going to look either, them lowering his cap hit for the Packers, maybe saving 2 million plus, hopefully somewhere around that range on a 1 year deal, or it looks like the Packers keeping him around for 2024 and 2025, maybe adding a year to his contract, which I'm actually more on board with, more in favor with, especially if we go in the draft and get somebody to kind of groom him along. That being said, who are the Packers being linked to? They're being linked to J.K. Dobbins. Okay, so I was really big on this dude coming out of college. He came out of Ohio State. Really like this guy. I think he's an absolute stud athlete. He is a freak of nature when it comes to athleticism. J.K. Dobbins is a super good, has a lot of upside. Okay, so let's get into what this article just has to say about him potentially being linked to the Packers. Okay, so it says right here that the Ravens free agents rumors that the Ravens will be more than likely being without Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins when they start, opening up the free agency. They're both performed well, it says, in recent years, although Dobbins suffered a season ending Achilles injury in week 1 against the Texans, likely reducing his value on the open market this offseason. Edwards filled in nicely for Dobbins in his absence, which he did. Bleacher Report predicted a possible landing spots for some free agent running backs, and the thinks that Dobbins is going to be headed to the Green Bay Packers. Predicted a landing spot Packers per Bleacher Report. Dobbins going to another true contender, it says, with the Packers, could revitalize his career while also getting another chance at the playoffs. Bleacher Report explained the projected earning of his value would be about $2 million on his next contract, which is not a lot. Dobbins will likely need to accept a prove it type of deal. Um, so the Packers could be that spot for revitalizing his career. Okay, so here's where I'm at with J.K. Dobbins. I was huge on this guy coming out of college. I think J.K. Dobbins was going to be one of the league leaders, rushing yards, consistently year after year. I really thought that. However, he has been just plagued with injuries. Okay, so when we start looking over, J.K. Dobbins' career, just his pretty much his rookie year in 2020, he played a total. I think he started 15 games, which was a lot. Okay, he played most of the season. Had nearly 1,000 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns. Okay, he found the end zone a lot. And he was kind of filling the shoes that everybody thought J.K. Dobbins was worthy of. However, 2021, he tears his what did he do in 2001? He um tore his ACL. Okay. Tore his ACL in 2000. It's hard to keep track of all of his injuries. Okay. So he tore his ACL. He missed the entire 2021 season. That was in the preseason. He did that. He's got a meniscus trim. He tore his LCL later on that year. And then he had a hamstring hampering him from coming back in 2021 as far as like just getting back and in motion, getting into the practice field. So he had a hamstring injury, and then of course tears his Achilles week 1 of last season against the Texans. Okay. I typically would be super excited about J.K. Dobbins and him being linked to the Green Bay Packers. However, I think this would be an absolute mistake for the Packers. I don't even care if it's $2 million, prove it type of deal. Is that going to be a good situation for him to have a situation like Green Bay when you've got Aaron Jones there? So he's not getting the rock a lot. He's not going to be heavily relied on. It's going to be mutually beneficial for both parties, Aaron Jones and J.K. Dobbins, because J.K. Dobbins, we know he's injury prone. Packers don't need another injury prone type of guy, especially when we start talking about Christian Watson and all of his upside and all of his talent. His hamstring injuries have just plagued him throughout his career in Green Bay. So I don't think the Packers need to go the route of J.K. Dobbins. I think they need to build it through the draft. I think there are going to be enough potentials out there in this draft that the Packers don't need to stretch and get. I think they can wait to the late third round to go and get somebody that's going to be, a potential hit for the Packers, especially if they're learning against, underneath a guy like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones he's got so much leadership, locker room presence, all of that stuff. He can groom that next athlete, and I think they need to do it through the draft. Could they add a piece like, like a veteran piece there? If they can get J.K. Dobbins for super cheap, that $2 million, I'm not opposed to it. And if he comes out and he absolutely proves it, however, longevity wise, I just would not put my faith in a running back like J.K. Dobbins. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Go Pack Go.